Hi there, thanks so much for joining me. In today's video, we'll be working on a couple of market style bouquets. I'm putting these together for a potential client, and the flowers that I'm using today are a little bit more ripe than I would use in flowers for a longer vase life, but these are so that I can take photos for this client so that they can see the style of my bouquets, what they'll look like wrapped in paper, and what they can expect for the pricing that I've given them. My goal for each of these 3 bouquets is to have 3 focal flowers, about 5 stems of yarrow that I'm using today as a filler flower, 3 to 5 stems of greenery, a stem of dill to add some sparkle, and then also a couple of other just pieces depending on what I feel like the arrangement needs. This first bouquet that I'm making will be sunflowers, and I went ahead and laid out each of my ingredients in front of me so that I know what I have to work with. What I like to do is start with one strong stem and then just kind of add pieces and turn my bouquet as I go. I had planned to add 5 yarrow, but because this stem is so large, I'm just adding 3. I think that'll take up the same amount of space, and it really has multiple stems on one. My dill is a little bit floppy since I just harvested it, but I'll go ahead and prop it up with some of my other stems, and as it perks up, it will straighten out on its own. Alright, like I said, what I'm going for is just a simple market style arrangement, and I'll show you what this looks like wrapped up as well. For now, I'm going to go ahead and cut the stems, and I'll set this in water, and I'll wrap up all 3 arrangements at the same time. For this next arrangement, I'll be using these lovely orange dahlias as the focal flower. Same with the first one, I will just choose a long and strong stem and I'll add from there, just kind of working with the ingredients that I have, making sure everything looks balanced. Alright, here is the second bouquet finished, and again, I'll show it to you when it's all wrapped up. Let's go ahead and cut the stems. Alright, for my last bouquet I'll be using phlox as the centerpiece focal flower. I have 3 phlox. I picked the phlox that were a little bit smaller on my bushes, and you can see that some of the blooms are starting to fade just a little bit. And again, remember, this is not for my customer to take home. It's not for long vase life. These arrangements are specifically for photos for my client. So this is what they would look like if they had been on your counter for a couple of days, and it gives the client an idea of what my market style bouquets look like. But if I was harvesting these for vase life, I would have harvested them earlier. So like I've done with my other bouquets, I'm starting with a strong focal flower, and then I like to go ahead and add a little bit of greenery next. My greenery that I'm using here is purple smoke bush, and then also this is bush honeysuckle. It is invasive in our area, but it's growing on my property, so I'm using it anyway. Again, remember, my goal is to have quite a bit of yarrow in each bouquet. And in this case, I have smaller stems because I've already used up my bigger stems. So I'll do quite a few stems of these yarrow just because it will match my the other amount, even though there's less on each one. Again, because my dill is looking a little bit droopy, I'm just gonna hook it back behind, and you can see that these other flowers help to support it so it doesn't look droopy at all. And then when it's rehydrated, it will be even more straight up and sturdy. You can see here that I've got a good mix of each of my elements, and then I'm going to just kind of look where I feel like I need another purple phlox. And I like to just kind of spread them out so that it feels even. Maybe I'll add another piece of greenery here, some more yarrow. And then if at any point I feel like something is being kind of drowned out by its neighbors, I'll pull it up, make sure that everything is kind of center stage. Oops. And I'm just loosely holding my bouquet, kind of looking at where I feel like things need to go. And you can see that I've just kind of evenly arranged each of my purple phlox so that they are nicely kind of the centerpiece of this arrangement. And I've saved this for last. What I find with yarrow and kind of umbel shaped things is you can poke stems down into them fairly easily. So what I want to do is to take this last stem of purple coneflower, and this one actually is more of a pink coneflower, but it's an echinacea. And I'm just going to stick this kind of down in and thread the stem through. Make sure it's not pulling on my phlox too much. Make sure I kind of like where it's situated. And I really like that combination. You'll notice that this arrangement is more of kind of a monochromatic arrangement with the pinks and purples all kind of blending together. And I like to do either kind of one color family or kind of mix things up and do maybe like colors on the opposite of the color wheel. But I don't do a ton of like every single color in my bouquets. You could do that arrangement style if you have like all hot colors or all muted pastel colors. That works well together. What I find is that it's just important not to mix your like hot pinks with your pastels if they're not of the same color. So for example, you could mix hot pink and pastel pink together in the same way that I have like lighter pinky purples with my brighter phlox. But I like to make sure that if I'm doing hot colors, I do all the hot colors together. You can do hot pink and bright green and bright purple and that orange and that kind of thing all together. And I don't like to mix my pastels with that. Okay. What I'll do before I wrap these up is just make sure I like how all of them look and see if I need to add little bits and pieces here and there. I have quite a bit of yarrow left over, but I'm also going to do kind of a small vase arrangement for this client just because they do have a restaurant, and so I want to show them what it would look like if I did small vase arrangements for them for their tables. So I'll do that too and show you guys what that looks like.